I was in New Orleans for the national championship game. I was in the LSU tunnel. In fact, on Twitter the other day, I posted some footage that I really, to be honest with you, didn't think a lot of you were going to even pay attention to. When we were down there, I had some new equipment. So I was trying it out. So I did a walk from the LSU locker room. It's a Superdome. Superdome is a massive building. So there's a little walk between the locker rooms, and you got a couple of turns down the tunnel, and then you get onto the field. And I put that up. Empty stadium, empty tunnel. I think got like 12,000 views. So that shows how desperate people are for content right now. But what I also did was I went right back to that same spot in the 30, 20, 15-minute lead up to the national championship game. Now, to again set the scene, Secret Service was all over the place. There's a totally different protocol when you're at a game that the president's at, obviously, especially for us. We got to get there like 6-7 hours early, which I don't mind because, to be honest with you, in a championship setting, I make the building my office for the day anyway. So I would have been in there regardless whether the president was going to be in town. But he was in town. And so what happened was you got Secret Service all over the place. And as it's been explained to me, see, I have an earpiece in my ear. So in a way, I'm like the Secret Service. And as it was explained to me, there are different routes that the Secret Service can take, and they don't really know which one they're going to take until, boom, coin flip, here's where we're going. And it's the same way in a stadium. There are multiple ways that they've decided that they can get the president from point A to point B to point C. So you never know which way he's going to go until they make the call in their ear. And so here's the setup. I'm outside the LSU locker room. I'm going to film their walk down the field and down the tunnel to the field for the start of the national championship game. As is often the case, the camera and the red light on the camera that is pointing right in the direction of the head coach tells them when to walk. And so you've got a producer behind a cameraman that you never see on TV that tells them, stop, 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 okay, let's go. And that's why sometimes if you're watching on TV, you'll see guys standing in the tunnel and you'll wonder, well, I'm watching. Obviously, they're back live. Why aren't they going? Well, it's because the coach probably isn't looking at the producer telling them to go. Overkill. I digress. So here's the situation. I'm outside the LSU locker room. And to my immediate right is Ed Orgeron, and his team is standing behind him. And it is a very surreal situation. The president, at this point, is out on the playing surface because the national anthem is being played. And so everyone is in a holding pattern. There's no movement inside the entire building. Everyone's on hold, including us. And there is an elevator right here to my immediate left, and that is one of the potential access points to take the president from the field up to wherever in the world he was going to sit. I don't even know where he went that night. But that's not the way they chose. However, it could have been the way they chose. And so we've got an army of Secret Service to my left. We've got LSU's team to my right, and they're out of their mind. They are going crazy like you normally would, okay? This is when they actually finally started to walk. But before this moment, you had LSU acting exactly how LSU does before a game. Very, very unique identity that team has. And then to the left, you got a bunch of Secret Service folks. Now, you think to your mind, Secret Service folks have probably seen some stuff in their life. And they're all wearing their sunglasses, even though they're indoors and it's like 9 o'clock at night. But I look at them as I'm watching LSU. I've been around LSU, so I'm used to what I'm seeing, but they haven't. And so they're not quite used to it. And you got some pretty seasoned Secret Service guys. Once you get on the presidential detail, you've been around for a while. And they're kind of cutting their eyes over, pull glasses down a little bit. They didn't know how to process what they were seeing any more than Oklahoma had a couple of weeks before. And so I'm sitting there, and mind you, a decade before this, I'm the kind of person who would have paid hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to be able to just sit in the stands for a game like this. And yet through blessing, hard work, a lot of help from other people, all those combinations of things have gotten me to the point where now I get to be paid and fed very handsomely to cover this stuff for a living. And I'm standing here in the middle of this team, which is about to win the national championship, and they're on a historic pace. And then I've got Secret Service over here, potentially with the president and his detail coming up this tunnel. And all the while I'm asking myself, how is it that out of the entire media contingent, everyone in this building, I'm the one who's standing right here? And yet I was the one standing right there. I'll tell you what would have made the video really good is if they would have chosen the LSU tunnel to come up. That's what would have made the video really good. So maybe next year.